What's good, everybody? It's when I come back at you another video. So this video I'm doing a trade recap for today, uh, March 31st. And I'm be honest with you guys, today I absolutely took a silly trade that resulted in a loss. Um, and I'm just mostly like, it's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous because this was just like a silly FOMO trade. Like this was one of these trades where like I knew I should have stepped away from the charts, and I told myself to step away from the charts, and I actually did. Like I actually closed off, TradingView and my broker and everything, but I was still behind my computer because I was doing some things, and then because it's still the trading session, I kept opening up TradingView just take a peek at because I'm always interested, like I'm always eager to continue learning because this stuff, like these concepts aren't necessarily new to me, but how they came together and everything, right, is still relatively new. I'm just still super eager to continue growing as a trader, and obviously, I'm eager to trade because I want to keep applying what it is that I've learned and that I know, and that results in me to taking a loss today. Now, granted, it was a half risk loss, so that's okay, but these are one of these silly trades where like it just was literally an unnecessary loss because I had literally stepped away from the computer, but then uh scenario presented itself, and I'm using the air quotes because I shouldn't have done it. But let's go over it, right? If this is one for you guys to remember, you know as a learning lesson so that you don't make the same mistake as me, I'm gonna show it for you guys here. So here we go. Today's the S&P. I'm bearish on price. Why? Because price came down and blasted through this swing low right here. Just this was the Friday push. So I knew I was bearish. I knew I was looking to take sells, right? Now jumping into today's price, and obviously I'm not gonna waste you guys' times because it was a loss. So I already had stuff marked up, right? So here, oh, okay. So here's what happened. So because today is bearish, right, I'm looking for different potential targets for price. So in short, I had marked up this this blue line right here. This is the swing high. This is the liquidity that I was aiming for, right? Because if we put the vertical line at 830, if you look left, was the most recent swing high that hasn't been cleared is obviously this one right here. This is our buy side liquidity. Why? Because if we're bearish on price, we want to see price go up, clear buy side liquidity to then go lower, right? And we want to take price down with it. I also noticed on the 15-minute time frame, right, that you see here, and I'll mark it for you guys, what appears to be basically like a triple top or quote unquote resistance, right? And I'm also seeing big gaps in price, which this gap right here, this is pretty much the new day or the new week opening gap, right? Because this is Friday's close to Sunday's open. So this was a gap in price. So what I was thinking, I was expecting price to effectively go up, clear this liquidity, tap into this gap here, and then from then on go lower. So then we can take price all the way down to this level. So that is what I had in mind, right? But that's the thing with trading. Um, Anything can happen as far as like what price wants to do, and you can have something in mind, but that's not necessarily what price is going to deliver. And so you have to essentially have a game plan in place and have rules to prevent yourself from getting in these I'll say interesting situations like I found myself in. I basically took a silly trade because the trade that I took a loss on today is literally something that essentially me kind of like breaking my rules. And I didn't do that at all for like the past couple weeks or months, right? And so it's sort of like, you know, just ridiculous that I fell for it. But nonetheless, let's jump into it, right? So basically, um, this candle right here, you can see this candle right here. This was the 9 a.m. candle. So here we have our liquidity marked. We have an obvious low right here. We have another low right here. So I'll just mark that as well so you guys can see that. So these are our liquidity points. As you can see, we also have a fair value gap right here. So what I'm basically, I want to see price go up, clear all this liquidity and stuff, and then push down so then we can get this as a target, this as a target, this as a target. So these three, like the imbalance, the low and the lows, right, the liquidity and the imbalances, those are my targets to the downside. So ideally, I want to see these targets remain intact because those will serve as targets for us to go down if we take a sell. And you'll see the mistake that I made. So here we go. Price is continuing. And the other reason why I have this ray right here that's just waiting for another push above is because once again, after 9:30, I want to see price make the high of the session, which would be to come up here and clear this liquidity. So of course, at 9 o'clock, you see this buy side liquidity gets cleared. That's okay, right? I want to see price after 9:30 to make a push higher because since this buy side liquidity gets cleared, this is the new high, or this serves as like the new liquidity. So technically, if I wanted to, I could get rid of it like this because I actually just need price to climb up these highs. But I still like to, see where my initial liquidity pool was marked. So anyways, the focus right now is for me to get these highs. And ideally, I want to see the pools of liquidity lower remain intact, right? So we just continue watching price. Unfortunately, price did come and tap into some balance here. Not ideal, but it's not the end of the world, right? Because we still have these targets. So this low right here, this would basically serve as my final target, my final take profit, because that is the low of the day. And if we're bearish on price, right, I would expect price to come down and clear that. So after 9:30, this right here is the 9:30 candle. As you can see, clear as day, price comes down and clears everything. Clears this, it clears that, it clears that. So what I should have done, which is what I initially did, once 9:30 happened, price came down and cleared these targets, the day's over. The reason why the day's over is because your targets are already taken. This liquidity was built up on purpose for price to want to go after it. You would want to see price go up to make the fake move to trick traders into thinking price is bullish to then break structure and then go down and clear your targets. But because after 9:30 hit, price came down and cleared all the targets, your trading day should have been done. So that's what I initially did. I initially closed my tabs and kept it pushing. But me being just eager to trade and curious, from time to time I kept taking peeks to see, what's going on with price, what's happening, and then I started seeing eventually that price was reversing up and essentially going to clear this high. So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, oh, maybe there's a chance that price might want to come up, at least clear this high, the bare minimum clear this high, and then maybe it might want to go to, these higher targets up here to then push down, right? So even though I shouldn't have even looked at the charts for the rest of the day, I should have just stepped away and showed up tomorrow. Um, I kept looking at the charts because it was just fear, pretty much FOMO and greed, which once again, if you want to be successful in this industry, you have to try to minimize or completely eliminate those emotions because my logic and my rules were telling me to step away, and because your rules are to protect you. Your rules are to make sure you are consistent and you are successful in this market. So this is why you want to follow your rules. Now, I understand from time to time you're gonna make mistakes from time to time. You might break your rules, but that's human. That's okay. You can still bounce back from this, and I know I will bounce back from this. Like that's inevitable. But right, I should have walked away. But now you see, I saw price going up, and I'm thinking, okay, if price clears this high, then maybe it might want to go lower. And price also left, a major imbalance right here, so that can serve as a down, a target. And then this low right here, because obviously I'm still bearish, so I'm thinking price comes up and clears it, it might want to go down, tap into this fair value gap, and then go back and clear this low. So I'm thinking, even though I should have stepped away, I'm thinking, oh well, maybe price wants to present me with another setup. And so I was essentially watching price again, which once again, I shouldn't even have been on the charts. And then here I'm starting to see aggressive bearish candles. So now I'm thinking, okay, this is my chance. So then I started dropping into lower time frames, right? 2 minute time frame, you see price pushed up and then came down and broke structure here, left the gap on the 2 minute time frame, and then the same idea, price came up and then broke structure and then left the gap on the 1 minute time frame. So I essentially seen this gap here, and then I took a trade. Now, thankfully, it was half risk trade. So this was I was looking at as a trade. But obviously, you guys know the result resulted in a loss. So as I fast forward it, price taps it and then completely obliterates my stop loss. So of course, I'm glad it was half risk, and I'm also glad that I had my stop loss in place because the point of a stop loss is to literally stop your loss, right? As you can see, price continued to go higher, but where is it going higher to? It is going higher. Well, now obviously this is current market conditions, so it pretty much came to the, essentially create an even greater pool of liquidity, So that is the silly mistake that I made of FOMO, greed, whatever it is, um, that I just won't make again, right? Because that's the thing when it to be a profitable trader, it's not only about taking the right. It's not only about knowing what to do, it's also about knowing what not to do, right? And this was a case where I knew exactly what not to do because after this 930 candle, after this 930 push, price came down and it completely obliterated all the sell side targets. So that was that should have been more of a signal for me to just like step away because there's nothing there. But I just kept telling myself, oh, I don't want to miss out on another opportunity, right? This could be like another chance of price wanting to like, you know, push price lower, and I don't, if a trade happens, I don't want to miss a trade. And see, it ended up being a low probability setup. Why? Because price already came down and cleared. Right, with this move down here, price came down and cleared the liquidity already. So that's what made it low probability. And so I took the trade, and then I lost immediately, right? So it's what I mean. Some traders, or some traders, because they don't have an understanding of price and what is it looking for, right? What to do, what not to do. They'll think that this is random. They'll think, oh well, I took a trade. I was bearish. I took a trade on a, bearish fair value gap, and price just, went right through it. So the strategy doesn't work. No, it's not that the strategy doesn't work. It's in this case, right? It's just you did something wrong. And for me, it's like I know what went wrong. And so me taking the loss, it didn't surprise me. It was just more of like me just being silly for wanting to do that. And so it's like I'm not mad at myself, but it's just like me, I should know better, right? So that's one of those like I should have known better type of trades that this was just you taking an unnecessary loss. So that's the thing. It's just when as a trader, priority number one is to protect your account, and priority number two is to then make money. In this case, I didn't prioritize priority number one, which is protecting my account, because I knew and I told myself, and I've always done this: if price goes after the targets and clears the targets immediately, I step away because there's nothing for me to trade. So that is priority number one of you protecting your account, and I disregarded protecting my account because my desire for wanting to make money and wanting to, I guess you could say, avenge the loss that I took Friday, um, led me to take another loss, right? When this should have been a no trading day. So the loss that I took, right? Obviously, like it is what it is, but I just think like, had I not taken a trade, that money would still be in the account, and that, if I just follow my rules and just continue to stay away after I closed all the tabs and closed everything because I knew it wasn't a trading day, that would still be in my account, right? So that's what it is. Trading is, yeah, you guys get it. So just one of these silly mistakes, silly trading days for me that I should have known better, and I do know better, and I'm going to trust my strategy, lock in on my strategy, lock in my model, and even my own logic and my mind. I told myself today's like not a day, and I still took a trade and it resulted in a loss. So it happens, it's okay, but now we'll continue locking in moving forward. So that's the loss here that I took earlier today. Just wanted to share this with you guys. And I know you guys will appreciate not only the wins, but also the losses because I'm not a perfect trader. No one's a perfect trader. And if someone's trying to pretend to be a perfect trader, then that's probably someone who, doesn't have your best interest in mind. So I'm just want to be transparent with my journey so that you guys can learn and see from my mistakes. And obviously, what can help you become a profitable trader is by cutting out the nonsense trade, by taking out the trades that you shouldn't be taking, right? Because you can succeed in this market and you can win, and you know you have the power to control that essentially. So hopefully this one was insightful, uh, and hopefully you appreciate this one. So once again, guys, this is Joel, and I'm out. I see you guys for the next video.